Republicans and Democrats in the Senate coming together to introduce Startup Act 2.0, a legislative package aimed at jumpstarting the economy through the creation and growth of new business. Senator Jerry Moran of Kansas, one of the bill's co-sponsors, joins us this morning, along with Steve Case, co-founder and former CEO of America Online, chairman and co-founder of the Startup America Partnership. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. Good to have you with us.
Good morning.
Good morning, Carl.
Senator, you write in your Politico piece, which is a great read, everybody should look at it, we want to prove the critics wrong. Congress can get something done in an election year when we work together to strengthen the economy and create jobs. What gives you confidence this is going to stand a chance on the Hill?
Well, several things, and certainly the senators who are involved in this act, Senator Rubio, Senator Coons, Senator Warner, we're relatively new members of the Senate. We didn't get the memo that says you can only work in non-election years. And I think that our success, we've seen some evidence of that with the passage of the jobs bill, something that we supported, and it came into, it was enacted, signed by the president, dealing with capital formation. But I would say the reason that this can get done is because the country desperately still needs to focus on jobs. We need to remain a competitive country in a global economy, and we don't have the luxury of postponing these kind of efforts to grow our economy, help put people to work, strengthen the opportunity for our country to grow economically and to have economic security. We simply don't have the time to say, let's wait until after the election. Then it's the lame duck. In the lame duck, most things are going to get bypassed and wait for the new Congress. Yeah. There's just no option.
Steve, interesting components to this. An entrepreneur's visa, keep people in this country, making permanent the exemption of some capital gains taxes, moving money from university research facilities to the private sector more quickly. What's the most important of all of those?
I'd say the most important, they're all important, but the most important is winning the global battle for talent. So it's the issue of immigration around entrepreneurs and engineers. Right now we attract many of them to our country. They get PhDs and master's degrees, and we kick them out of the country and force them to go back to their countries and start companies there that compete with companies here. So we really got to make sure we win the battle for talent. But the other things around regulation and incentives and commercialization are also important. But as Senator Moran said, there already is some good bipartisan support, even in an election year, because the Jobs Act was supported by the president, led by Majority Leader Eric Cantor in the House, and had broad bipartisan support and was signed into law last month. That dealt with access to capital for entrepreneurs, crowdfunding, an IPO on-ramp, very important things. But the job's not done, and the Startup Act 2.0 that these 4 senators, 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats are coming together to do is critically important if we want to remain the world's most entrepreneurial nation.
Yeah. It's always tough to give projections and live by them. Any idea how many jobs this could provide for?
Well, the data from the Kauffman Foundation, they'll be talking this morning at the press conference, is 40 million jobs have been created in the last 3 decades by high-growth entrepreneurial companies, and accounts for all the net job creation. So if you want to get the job creation engine going, you want to get economic growth going, you want to make sure you're competitive in a global world, the place to focus is entrepreneurship, and thankfully people such as Senator Moran and his colleagues are doing that even in an election year. We need to support their bipartisan effort to put entrepreneurs first.
Hey, Steve, I do want to ask you about Facebook. We couldn't go too long in this conversation without having the founder of AOL comment about Facebook. You know, a lot of people are making the comparison that the hype of Facebook was similar to the hype around AOL Time Warner. And on that day, you said this is a historic moment in which new media has truly come of age, similar to the hype that we heard prior to the Facebook IPO on Friday. I'm curious what your take is on how the stock is traded and how the underwriters and the exchanges have done in listing this new issue.
I think maybe people are a little too focused on the day-to-day trading. The reality is that Facebook was started 8 years ago and is now worth over $80 billion and served 900 million people. So it's a huge success, a huge entrepreneurial success. And the reason folks like Senator Moran are focusing on the Startup Act 2.0 is to make sure the next generation of Facebooks and Googles and Yahoos and many other companies start in this country and grow in this country. We became the leading economy in the world because we're the most entrepreneurial economy in the world, and we need to get back to that and not focus so much on the day-to-day things. It's not a snapshot, it's a movie, and it's all about entrepreneurship, and we're going to keep America great.
Senator, coming back to the bill itself and to your effort here, you know, Mr. Case mentioned immigration being so important. We hear it all the time from CEOs and senior executives, the dearth of talent. But it's also been a lightning rod, both for your party and for the Democrats. And what gives you the confidence that you can, in any way, even a modest reform of this type, get something through the House and the Senate?
Well, first a point, if we don't, I've heard the stories from particularly high-tech companies where they're currently hiring individuals who are foreign-born but U.S. trained, PhDs in computer education, for example. But they're hiring not in the United States because there's no visa for them. They're hiring them in their research facilities in Canada or Dublin. And the point I want to make is it's not only that we lose those jobs, we lose the entrepreneurial skills and talents of those individuals who are now working someplace else who are going to start the next Facebook or AOL. Those things are very important. This is about jobs today, but about jobs for Americans in the future. The reason we can do this is this. I would guess that 80% of my colleagues agree with me and the provisions in this legislation in regard to the visas. And we need to get rid of this explanation that we can't do anything about immigration unless we do everything about immigration. Let's take the 80% of what we agree upon, accomplish that, create the jobs, grow the U.S. economy, and the byproduct of that is it helps pay down our national debt, which is a huge issue for most of us in Congress.
Senator Moran, Steve Case, appreciate your time, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.